Okay, welcome back, and today's video is going to be a shoe review on one of the most iconic race day shoes in history and arguably the best shoe on the market. It's the Nike Alphafly 3. Now, what makes this such an iconic shoe, just to start off with, it's not this version, but it's the first version. I'll try and pop a video, pop a photo somewhere. And that is the shoe that Eliud Kipchoge, he's an elite Kenyan distance runner. He was the first ever person to break the sub 2 hour marathon barrier, which didn't go down as a world record, but it did go down as the first person, as he's the first person to break the sub 2 hour barrier in the marathon distance in history. Now, what is so impressive about that, it's the fact a scientist said no one will come close, or no one will come close, if not break the actual sub 2 hour barrier until 2075. So anything from get close to 2 hours flat or thereabouts, or under it for like nearly couple of decades from now. So this is the shoe he ran in, not this version, the first version. I'm going to pop it there. And today is going to be all about this third version. I'm going to talk about the pros, the cons, what I like about it, what's changed from the other version, and give my honest review about whether you should get it or not. So the first thing is going to be all the new features. So now I'm going to quickly go over all the different specs, but then I'm going to compare the version 2s to the version 3s. Now, in general, for the version 3s, I wear a UK size 13, and it comes in at about 255 grams, and well, like I'm saying, my UK size 13, which is very surprising, especially for a shoe that has, as you can see, a lot of foam. It's quite bulky and it's quite big. So big surprise there when especially the fact it's lighter. But that's what every improvement in every kind of shoe is. They want to get it lighter, better and faster. So, and the second thing is it's got 40mm at the back and 32 at the front, which complies with World Athletics criteria for a super shoe or carbon plated shoe. And what this is they've got a regulation in place where any company making a shoe, it has to be no higher than a 40mm at the back, and which will make sure the competition is fair between everyone, regardless of what kind of shoe. Obviously, companies can make it lower, and obviously a little bit more stable, might be a bit more stable, but you get less of this, more of that. But it's just specifically for the race day shoes. So, and it complies just with the elites. It doesn't matter if you get a pair of shoes that are illegal or quoted as illegal, but it's just for the elites. And the second thing is companies do make shoes that are higher than this. You might have heard of max cushion shoes or something like that, where they go above the above the regulation, which is completely fine, but it's just for the elites. So nice and simple. I'm going to go over it again. No higher than 40mm at the back, otherwise it provides an unfair advantage. And the second thing is one carbon plate, which is the black plate running through the shoe. This just gives an extra bit of stiffness, and as you can see, I'm struggling to bend it with two hands, and this shows it does help you, but also the foam contributes to it as well. So less about this and next to the changes. So here we see that wonderful Alphafly 3, and here we see the 2s. Big changes, big differences. Let's go over them. So, just for the Alphafly 3, it's got a wider carbon plate, and the base is wider also, and this provides a more stable base whilst you're running, because with the version 2s here, as you can see, if I do a side-by-side comparison there, it is, I don't know, let me flip it around, it is wider, especially in the heel as well. So that's one big difference between them, and a big improvement for the version 3s. Second thing is they developed a new AtomNet 3.0. What that is just the upper bit where you slide your foot into, and you should be able to see my fingers wiggle around here, and it's very breathable, very light, and you don't even notice it. And especially when it's hot outside and it's sunny, maybe it's a perfect race day, but it is a little bit hot, it does get quite warm. And the last thing, or the most obvious thing, is the cutout has gone by here compared with the Alphafly 2, where you can see directly through it by here, and you can see the air zoom units. And compared to here, the only cutout bit is through the middle here, and in this little bit to save a bit of weight. And those are the key differences. But one last thing before we move on to the comparison, is the air zoom units are fully covered now and fully protected compared with the version 2s. So, what are the big differences between the 2s and the 3s? So first of all, the version 3s, they have a way smoother ride because there's no gap in between, which makes it feel more natural as you toe off and land and so on. So it definitely makes a big difference. And personally, with the version 2s, they felt quite blocky to myself. I didn't get the chance to really break them in, even though I have done a lot of miles in them. It just seemed like the foam and everything just wouldn't compress or anything like that. So there's better stability. As I showed you earlier, the base is by far one of the biggest it's ever been. You'd half expect it to be heavier, but no, they've managed to shave off a nice 20 grams, which made it more efficient. So what I've seen, especially with races in this shoe, I found it more comfortable and more controlling going around corners, especially those sort of slightly bit narrow country lane kind of turns, where there's a sharp right turn or a long curved round turn. It's made the difference. You feel more stable and you can feel like you can push the pace in them a lot. So for anyone who's got a long stride or likes to open their stride like myself towards the end of the race, it feels like it's more comfortable, and working at those higher paces really do feel like you're being sort of pushed on, and it's so stable. So version 2s, in terms of comfort and stability rather than comfort weren't the best. It's my first ever super shoe, so you can't go wrong. But the comfort, the heel, the arch bit of my foot be here didn't get along with the arch bit on the shoe, which some runners can relate to if they've got the version 2s and gone on to the version 3s. There's a big difference, and the one thing that made the biggest impact in the shoe's credibility is the heel. Not the heel, sorry, the arch. But it's one of the most popular running shoes, so there's a lot of debate out there. But the one thing for stability is it's more unstable for taller runners, and especially for the ones who got bigger feet. I know it sounds ridiculous, but if you think about physics and everything, I don't want to get into this, but the shorter you are, the better centre of gravity you have, and obviously the taller you are, the less centre of gravity. And especially when you've got a big shoe, you've got long legs and everything, one missed landing, you're going over or injuring yourself badly. So the last thing is there's a massive improvement in weight. So for the version 3s now, obviously they developed the Astronaut 3.0 like I showed you earlier. Very breathable, very lightweight. Like I just said there, it's more breathable, so your foot doesn't overheat as much in the sun or when it's hot. Therefore, you're not going to have as much impact. And the second thing is there's a big change in the weight. So going from the version 2 to the version 3, it's 20 grams lighter in the version 3s, which is about 7.3% in weight reduction. So those extra 20 grams may be the difference between you getting maybe 30 seconds off, compared with the version 2 where you might get 5 to 10 seconds off. So just to close up, a couple of pros and cons. So I'm going to start off with the pros, like anyone would. They're super lightweight, super bouncy and responsive because of the new Zoom X. It's more responsive, so it's quicker and fast over races. So it's ideal for longer races, but there is races where you can put these to the test. I wear these for 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, and personally I'd highly suggest them for marathons. I've never run a marathon yet, so I can't relate to that, but if somebody has and has run a marathon in Alphafly 3s, can you let me know in the comments, and then it'll be more helpful for runners, all of us runners out there. And there's improved stability, so you're more confident, or everyone should be more confident at working at a high speed. So it's all in all very positive, very big changes lead on to very big impact. But the cons, so they are very pricey regardless of where you get them from. They're coming at about £270 to £280, and yeah, it depends on the colourway as well. Some colourways might be a little bit cheaper because maybe they're not getting sold as much compared with certain other colourways where they might get sold a lot, which means it could be a little bit higher price. But all in all, £275 to £280 is very, very pricey. It still feels like a race day shoe, not one of those shoes where you can use it for your speed sessions, your tempo sessions and your race day. It's just still feels like a race day shoe, which for some runners, they do save their shoes, and I'd highly advise if you get a pair and they're brand new. I haven't worn these yet, as you can tell, because the laces are still tied up like that, but I'd save these for race day any day of the week. And the last thing, with any super shoe that goes for anything from Adidas, Asics, Saucony, all of them have got a limited durability and it varies from runner to runner. Obviously the elites might get more, they might get 320, 600 kilometers out of them, and then compared to with us, well, down to earth kind of runs, or normal, or I wouldn't call us runners normal, or more of a day-to-day runner that's trying to improve and everything, might get less because you might weigh a little bit more than elites, and therefore the shoes do take a big impact. But also it depends on the terrain, weather, and loads of factors that take into place. So that is the review done and dusted. If you've got any more questions, leave them in the comments below. I'm not looking for clout or anything, but if you can give like a little like, a share, maybe subscribe or something like that, or if you know any other if you know any runners, or that your friends are runners and looking for something nice and easy to keep on track with, that'll be very helpful. But till the next time.